Welcome home to my kitchen. Tonight we are going to be making governor's casserole. This is a recipe that I found years ago in a cookbook. I'm really not even certain why it's named governor casserole. I think there was a blip in the recipe about it being the favorite meal of the governor of Massachusetts or one of those eastern states. Not entirely sure. A governor of one of the states of America loved this dinner, and it's one that my family loves as well. It is the epitome of comfort food. It's simply ham, vegetables in a milk cheese sauce. Very simple, very filling, and it's what we're gonna make tonight. So all you're gonna need for this recipe is something funny, Seth? All you need for this recipe is ham, and you can use Virginia, you can use honey, Black Forest. This is just regular ham. Usually I get Black Forest. We're gonna dice this up, and then we have broccoli and cauliflower. I am cheating tonight because I'm pressed for time and I bought pre-cut florets, which is super convenient. And then for our sauce, we're just gonna have melted cheddar with milk, parmesan, butter, and thicken it with some flour. And then we'll cook it all in the oven, sprinkle it with some breadcrumbs, and be done. So, let's get started. The first step is simply to boil a pot of water, because we're going to pre-cook the broccoli and the cauliflower and get it not soggy, but soft, cooked. And then I'm cutting up my ham, cubing it into bite-sized pieces. And then while the vegetables are cooking, we will start on our milk cheese sauce. Okay, we are ready to start our sauce. Very simple. We're just gonna melt 6 tablespoons, a little over a third cup of butter. And once our butter is all melted, we'll add 4 cups of milk and about a half cup of flour. And we'll just constantly stir until it thickens. So the thing about a milk sauce, 2 important things. Number 1, you don't want the heat too high because it will scorch on the bottom. And number 2, you have to constantly stir because it will scorch on the bottom. So we will wait for the butter to melt and then add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so our butter is completely melted. What I like to do is add the flour first and just mix it in with the butter. I found that if you do it this way, it avoids clumps in your milk. Just get that all melted and mixed in. So we have clumps now, as you can see, but when I add the milk, that will dissipate. If you add the milk first and then add flour to cold milk, then you have flour clumps floating all around. Also, in a milk sauce, you never want to just pour the milk in all at once because the bottom heats first and then the top is still cold and you have clumps. So I'm just gonna add, about 2 cups right now, and I'll let that heat through real quickly because again, we want to constantly stir our sauce. But I see that my water has come to a rolling boil, so I'm just gonna pour in my broccoli and my cauliflower and hope that I have enough room. Okay, I'm all good. So I'm just gonna let that boil for a few minutes. Again, really important not to get soggy because we're gonna get it in the oven. So we just want it, not crisp, but not soggy. So, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. Okay, so this heated through really quickly. So we definitely want to add some more milk, but not the whole thing. This will cook fast. Constantly stir, constantly stir. I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of the milk. And I'm just gonna wait for this to thicken up nicely, and then I'll pour in about 1.5 cups of the cheddar and about 1.5 cups of parmesan, and we'll check back and see how it goes. So my milk sauce is bubbling, and I'm not happy with the consistency. So the thing about a milk sauce is there is no exact ratio. There's a lot of eyeballing and preference, and I used skim milk when I normally use whole milk, so that's kind of part of the problem. But again, it's just too watery. So I'm gonna add a very little amount because a little bit of flour goes a long way. So I'm just pouring in a couple tablespoons. And I don't want to stir this in with a spoon. I want to whisk it in. And it's already getting a lot better. Also, with the milk sauce, the hotter it gets, like the longer you heat it through, it helps with the thickness. So this is essentially boiling, but because I'm constantly stirring it, it's not going to get scorched. And now this is getting way better. So I don't know how well you can see that, but it's not runny. It's sticking to the spoon. Yes. Okay. So I do like this consistency. I'm going to turn the heat way down. In fact, for now, because I have an electric burner and not a gas, I'm just going to turn it off because this will stay hot for quite some time. And I'm going to add my cheese. And again, I'm estimating about 1.5 cups. Really, I just kind of handful, like a handful and a half of cheddar. And you can't go wrong with too much cheese. Here's about 1.5 cups of parmesan. And I'm gonna stir this until this is all melted and heated through. Oh yeah, this is a good consistency. All right, awesome. So let me just see here. I don't think it's nearly done. I think I have a few minutes with the cauliflower. So I'm going to set this on the back burner so that my milk sauce doesn't keep heating. And we will just wait for the vegetables to finish cooking, and then we'll assemble it all into a casserole dish, stick it in the oven for a few minutes, and be done. Everything is cooked, and now we are ready to assemble our casserole. So I'm just gonna pour the vegetables in. And I think I have enough. I'll squeeze it all in one. Okay, so we've got the broccoli and the cauliflower stuffed in this casserole dish. And then we are going to top the vegetables with the ham. Like so. I don't normally stuff it this big, but put it on a cookie sheet in case the sauce boils over. And then finally, we pour our cheese sauce over it. Oh yeah. Remember what I said about being comfort food? I mean, is there really anything more comforting than cheese? I think not. Maybe hot chocolate. So it's really thick right now, but I have found that the vegetables retain water, and so that will kind of make the sauce not so thick. Okay, kind of a mess, but it's all good. So our cheese sauce is in there, and as it's cooking, it'll seep down in between the vegetables and the ham. It's not just gonna sit on top like this. I definitely need to put it on a cookie sheet. Sarah, would you grab one for me? Again, I'm using a different casserole dish. Normally I put it in a big one, but I chose to use this one this time. Yum. Okay. Just go ahead and put it there. Except you put it on the cheese. Gross. And I don't want that on my oven, so pardon me while I just clean up a little here. Okay. And now we are going to top it with some breadcrumbs. And we're going to stick it in the oven for 30 minutes. Pull it out, eat it, and it's going to be wonderful. 30 minutes have passed, and here we have our casserole, and it did not bubble over, so I did not need the cookie sheet, but it was a good precaution. To be truthfully honest, I took this out 3 minutes early because my husband is starving. So the breadcrumbs are not as brown as usual, but I do see a little browning around the edges of the cheese and stuff, so it's done. And I noticed that the sauce was bubbling, so it's all heated through. So it's all good. This is it. We are gonna serve up Brian's plate. All right, let's dig in. You can see the layers. We've got the vegetables, the cheese sauce, chunks of ham. Somebody's messing with the lighting on purpose. Let's just give him some more because he is a hungry man who's been working all day. All right, we'll throw some garlic bread on there. Did you get a close-up of it, Seth? Come on in. And now zoom out because we've got our catchphrase, and now